Hey everybody and welcome. We're still a little bit early. We're going to get started here in just a few moments, but thanks for waiting and we hope to get rolling soon. So thanks so much. We'll see you shortly. All right, everybody, welcome. We just wanted to give that a couple more minutes to get everybody in here. We appreciate everybody joining us today for this version of Safety HQ's Keeping Job Sites Safe for Construction Week, Safety Week, and beyond. So for those of you that are not aware, this is Safety Week, Construction Safety Week for 2025. A lot of fun and exciting things going on right now. I know many of you, depending on what part of the country area you're in, are getting rolling, starting to get busy with some projects and things like that. So that's why Construction Safety Week always typically coincides really well with the start of busy season for a lot of folks in the Midwest and the East Coast, up north a little bit too. So it's a really good idea. It's a really good reminder for everyone to really put their safety practices under the microscope before the hecticness and the busyness of another season comes to pass. So what we're hoping to do today is, based on some feedback we've gotten some other ones, we're going to do this as a little bit of a blend of both items. So we're going to see some features from Safety HQ. We're also going to talk educationally on some things to keep in mind too. So we won't get into a full demo per se today on Safety HQ, but if you guys do have any questions, you guys do need anything, feel free to contact me or the team. My contact information is right there. Happy to help at any time. That's a good place to get a full demo, maybe a more concentrated idea. We can talk a little bit more about what items you guys are dealing with or what items that we need to address from your perspective as well too. But what is Construction Safety Week? That's a really good question here too. When we get into Construction Safety Week, as I mentioned, this is a really important area for us to focus on. Getting back out there, making sure that our best practices are already in place so that when we start getting into the swing of things, for those of you that are a little bit more seasonal, or for even those of you that work year round, maybe in the South, that don't run into those seasonal walls as much, just a good time to kind of reset and focus on some of those items as we go. As many of you guys know, Construction Safety Week, it's an industry event, it began on Monday. We're kind of at the tail end now, so we'll be coming up to Friday being the last day of Construction Safety Week, but it's really designed to promote safety and wellness, as well as bringing awareness to a lot of safety-specific topics within the industry. As many of you guys know, OSHA always has a lot of focus areas. Those change from year to year based on where we see a lot of recordables and things like that. This is a big area of focus with OSHA, but you can also see more through, as I'm pulling this up on the other screen here, constructionsafetyweek.com. So you guys can always go there, go to constructionsafetyweek.com. They have a lot of really cool tools, ideas, areas where you can go in here, get some more information. So it's a good idea. If you're a little bit behind this week and maybe you didn't get to some of these things, still some good resources to utilize potentially as we get into the tail end of week, or just do it next week. It shouldn't be too big of a difference there as you go. So many of you guys may notice you're on mute right now. If you have any questions, please feel free to send them in the chat. I will try to get to as many of those as I can today. If you don't get those, again, I'll flash my contact information at the end of this as we go as well too. So without further ado, we're going to use Safety HQ as kind of the guideline today to give us an overview of some safety practices and how we can kind of review those items as we go. So let me go ahead and pull up Safety HQ for you. Great. So for those of you that are not aware, SafetyHQ is an app, iPhone, Android, tablet, whatever, fully available in English and Spanish. This is supported by a larger company, Foundation Software. For those of you that are not aware, you don't need to have Foundation Software or any of the other products. But the idea is this is supported by a much larger brand of construction technology items. So we're here to help. We're based out of Cleveland, Ohio. It's beautiful. You should come visit. It's amazing. But we do have folks all over the United States. We do support folks in at least 6 different countries now, but the primary client base is going to be in the United States and Canada. Full support out of our Cleveland office. We have some folks in Canada as well in the Toronto area, but you're going to talk to one of our team members who can help you at any time. But the area that I like to focus on with some of these items is in SafetyHQ is Toolbox Talks. So I'm going to show you this from a SafetyHQ perspective, but keep in mind there's other ways that we can apply this to your business, even if you decided not to go with a SafetyHQ or a dedicated safety software. So Toolbox Talks, for those of you that like, hey, this is I'm coming out from behind under a rock, and this is my first time. I really want to get going on safety. That's okay. Everyone's got to start somewhere, and everyone's at different levels of their safety compliance. Toolbox Talks should be done at least every week to keep your team up to date on continuing education, whether that's particular topics, whether that's areas of emphasis, whether there's areas that you want to focus your team on. Maybe you're dealing with heat issues in your area. Then maybe we want to focus some conversations around heat. This is a really good area to explore some things like near misses. If you guys have a near miss, pass those along to your team. Make those a learning opportunity and utilize those as a good opportunity to do the Toolbox Talks. Now, as I mentioned, SafetyHQ is available in English and Spanish. Great. One of the benefits of using an app, and if I go to my phone, it's going to look something like this, I should mention too. But one of the big benefits of using an app is taking all of the safety related items and handling the compliance and the rollout of those things through the application. It's a lot harder to do that on paper, as many of you guys may have tried and noticed to this point. But one of the big benefits here is if I were to go ahead and pick a topic such as safe setup of heavy equipment, I can decide to share that with my team. I have customizable roles that I can pick in here. I can send that immediately, or I can schedule that off on a dedicated date. So I don't know, this seems like a good topic to send out for next Monday. Great. I can send it to whatever team that I'd like. My teams, in this case, my foremen and crew leaders, will get the notification at the date and time that I've selected below. You can allow teams to pick their own. We can do this crew-based. We can do this individually. It really depends on what makes the most sense for you guys. I see it all over the board. I see a lot of people that are really focused on individualized safety, more so, like electrical trades, right? You might have some folks working individually a little bit more, have them do the Toolbox Talks individually. Great, pass that information along. Maybe some other trades that are more group-focused or crew-focused. Maybe that's led by the foreman or the crew leader. So you got some flexibility, whatever makes the most sense for you guys, as long as you're getting them done. In SafetyHQ, you'll notice that I have selected, the safe setup of heavy equipment from my inbox. I received that notification, and I'm going to hit this big yellow cannot miss it yellow button. And that's what I'm going to use to go ahead and begin my Toolbox Talk. This is going to connect up with, potentially your accounting solution or what have you to get your projects, employees, and jobs in here. I'm going to pick the project that I'm working on, and I'm going to hit next. I could sign off on this. And then in this case, I also want my employees to sign off on this as well. It's pretty flexible. If I want to go ahead and, start typing a name, it's going to limit that down. So I'll pick John Doe here. He can sign off on this. And one of the big benefits is after I've discussed this Toolbox Talk, managing the compliance is always typically the hardest part with your groups. The way that we can do that through an app is we can collect those signatures, and those signatures, as well as the full Toolbox Talk, will tie back to the employee record, the job record. They're dated. It's easy to find those items if we ever need to go back and find them. So I hit submit. Great. If you're doing this on paper, we're going to want to get a sign-in sheet, find a way for that to get back into the office. A little bit more of a challenge typically. But in this case, I can sort all my completed Toolbox Talks by the date they were submitted, the project, the topic, a company, division, or crew if I'd like. I can grab that topic right here after that's been completed. I can share, oh, it's on my other screen. I can go ahead and share a PDF of that. This would be complete with your company name, logo, colors, what have you. You can email this off to whoever you like, whenever you like. Great, you got it all saved in the system. And as I mentioned, that's also going to be saved on our employee records as well. So I can pick any one of our employees at any time. I can see every toolbox talk that they've attended. That is automatic. The system's going to do that without your team taking any additional effort. So one of the big items related to toolbox talk is, well, how do I make sure that the team's doing it, right? I run into all the time, these guys, they want to do it. They say they're doing it. They're blowing it off. I don't think they're actually getting it done. That's where this reporting tool within SafetyHQ is going to be handy. You'll see here, I have mine as administrator once per week, but you could set this up to whatever roles you'd like at whatever frequency you'd like. In this case, I want this to be done once per week by my team. My team's not doing a very good job, but that's okay. We can go ahead and send them all a notification. We can loop in a manager if they need an extra kick in the rear end. And you'll see here, I've been nailing it. I am really on top of my toolbox talks. Nobody's going to come and say anything to me, so I'm good to go from there. If you do any kind of incentive program, things along those lines, you can see how people are doing from a bigger picture perspective. Really handy. But the goal is this is all automated, right? It's hard enough to get the compliance from the team. What we really focus on is a simple and easy to use process. We do not want to overcomplicate toolbox talks by any means for our group. We realize, again, not everyone's favorite thing to do anyway. So that's what we do with toolbox talks to make this really simple and easy. On that note, toolbox talks are always a good place to start, right? That's a good place where everybody should at least be putting their time and attention if you haven't done anything toolbox or anything safety related to any point. So a good place to start. But for many of you, you guys might be noticing there has been a huge trend and shift in the industry. A lot of general contractors are asking for more information from you guys as far as, have you completed your JHAs? Are you doing regular site inspections? Whatever those safety activities might be. They can vary from job to job, process to process. What we've noticed in the 8 to 10 years of doing this from a safety software perspective is it's really not super beneficial for your team if you're only going to do these safety activities when they are required by a general contractor. What you really need to do is make these a regular part of your process. That's when the team can really focus on these as we go. Because again, it shows a lot. If you're only doing JHAs when your GC requires it, well, then it shows that it's not important to your team 40 weeks out of the year or however many weeks that they're not working on that job. So we want to really start that top down, work the focus from the top down and show that everybody's bought in and everybody does care about these safety activities. We need to take our time and we need to manage and organize these for your team as we go too. So just some examples here. We do have a full customizable forms area. JHAs, site inspections, toolbox talks, equipment items, whatever those might be. I'll show you a couple of quick examples today just to give you a feel. So again, I pick my JHA. I hit my big yellow button. I can pick my project. Great. I'm going to skip the weather for now, but you can make whatever fields you like required. And keep in mind, these are fully customizable. We can build these forms for you at no additional cost. That's complimentary as part of the service. We don't expect you to be a form designer or a programmer. We'll help you. Just send us the forms that you're requiring or the GC's requiring. And then also in here, we have a lot of really good templates based on specialty and trade. We got thousands of clients throughout the United States, Canada, and a few other countries as well too. So I'm going to hit next. I pick setup and load materials. I'm going to focus on fall protection and maybe environmental hazards. And it is only going to show me the fall protection and environmental hazards that are associated with that particular set of tasks, the setup and load material. It doesn't have to be that granular, but it can be. But the good news is, and the focus here is, this is really only showing me controls related to the hazards that I've identified. The easiest way to get somebody to check out and pencil whip a JHA, a site inspection, whatever it may be, is give them as many pages as possible, and here's everything that could happen, or have them do a whole bunch of writing. That's not really beneficial. They're going to get overwhelmed. They're going to not pay super close attention. We're going to drift off. We're not going to get good data back, nor are we going to get good focus from your teams out in the field. So that's one of the big benefits of SafetyHQ or safety software as a whole, is it is focusing in and narrowing in based on what the team needs. Now, if I was on my phone or my tablet, I could hit browse here, and this would go directly to my camera or my camera roll. Let's go ahead and see. I think I got some pictures. Normally I got some, this is what I'm looking for. I don't know where my photos went. But I'm going to go ahead. I guess we're going to pick this picture that my daughter drew. Not what we were going to go with, but that'll work just fine. If you did need to highlight something on a job site, this is our dog. Great. You can highlight that, whatever you need. This would look a whole lot better if we did this as, part of a construction site or what have you too. But these photos can be used for whatever you'd like. If you want to use this to highlight things in a daily job log that might not necessarily be safety focused, you could do that. If you want to highlight safety areas of concern, you can do that too. So use the photos however you'd like, mark those up however you'd like. You got some flexibility. In here, you're going to go ahead and see an area for a foreman signature and an employee signature. That's going to work the same way as Toolbox Talks. A lot of similar actions and workflows in here. That's very intentional. We want the teams, once they've learned it one way, they got it figured out no matter what they want to do in the software. Great. They can go ahead and review that particular Toolbox Talk, or not Toolbox Talk, JHA or JSA, AHA, whatever it might be. Again, branded, your company logo. A lot of this is going to look very familiar for you guys as well too. Great. So you got some flexibility there as you go. And again, the reporting works the same way. I now have foremen doing this once per day. This is a good way to keep on top of our teams, make sure we're doing this regularly. We can sort those again by project, date range, whatever you might need. But just to show you another example, again, fully customizable, put in whatever forms you like. Some of them can even drift a little bit away from safety, like some daily log type items as well. But I like to show an example of a job site inspection as well too. So this is really important. I know people, they do a job site inspection once and they may leave it, or they only do it on particular jobs. But this is a really good way to keep your crew leader, foreman, superintendent, whoever it might be, in touch with the job site, having them aware of all these different things. If it's a small change one day at a time, you might not notice it. But if you're actually vigilantly walking through the job site, it's a good way to focus in on things that might be changing, hazards that are presenting themselves, and heck, even some production-related activities as well too. So you'll see here, we're going to get a lot of that same logic in here. If I'm not using harnesses, great, I'm done. If I am using harnesses, okay, we got some more questions to ask you. So it's a good way to keep the team, again, focused on just what they need. If they do run into an issue, we'd like to embed corrective actions right into here. Now, you can do it just in an automated email, keep it really simple. But one of the big reasons that we realize that teams do not, track or manage deficiencies is, well, if I do that, then I got to write it down over here. I got to call so-and-so. I got to email so-and-so. I got to stop what I'm doing, and I need to do X, Y, Z activities. That's why we bring it in and we embed that within the inspection, right? So in this case, no first aid kit. I want to add a new corrective action. Great. I'm going to tag this as a housekeeping issue. Maybe I'm going to assign this to Ben. He's going to bring us a new one. I can take a photo from my job site. Great. And I can also go ahead and assign that a due date or what have you as well too. So, first aid kit probably better to be today. We could automate and default some of these things. But what's really handy is it's really simple and easy. This is going to send a notification to all the appropriate parties. It's going to tag this for some record keeping and data collection in a bit. And I am right back to doing my inspection. I can continue doing what I need to do. Again, that'll save by project, job, whatever. You can see who's done these, who hasn't done these. And then those corrective actions are going to go right into our corrective action hub. We can see any outstanding or assigned items that need to be addressed. Review it by high priority, low priority, whatever. We can go ahead and do this by form type. I see this really common too. If you do like equipment inspections, this is a really cool place for, your equipment managers or things like that to be able to get in here and just see to-do lists, just an item of things that they need to repair or review from equipment items alone. But otherwise, you can see anything that needs to be done. I can make changes, edits, updates, add photos. And then I can go in here and I can actually see trends and analysis as I go too. So I can see leading indicators. I can see where we're having issues, where we're not having issues. And then in either place, I can sort all of that by whatever I might need by, again, form, severity, who assigned it, company, division, things like that too. So not only is this tracking these items, it's also going to get some leading indicators to prevent injuries and accidents going forward. I'll show you one more example, and that'll just be a quick one, just as an equipment inspection here as we go, because I'm thinking you guys might get the feel. Big yellow button. Again, the site inspection or this equipment inspection is going to work just like that site inspection or whatever else. You can customize this however you'd like. But the big deal here is I'm going to pick this piece of equipment. Great. I picked this Ram 3500. I would have gone through my inspection. Again, I can translate from English to Spanish at any point here as I'd like. Fantastic. But when I do that, what that's actually going to do is that's going to update in my equipment hub here as I go. So it's going to set that last inspection date for us automatically. It's going to set that next inspection date for us automatically. You can see who this is assigned to. You can assign this to a project. You can see anything related to that piece of equipment, accidents, repair requests, inspections, all right within this piece of equipment. And then I can actually go in here and see, show me anything that's overdue, show me anything by manufacturer, status, tag, the project that it's on. So not only can I do the safety related items, there's some other things equipment related that I can get into here to make sure that I have a pretty good idea of where my equipment's at and that we're regularly maintaining it for safety purposes. Now again, these are fully customizable. You can do these however you'd like. There's really not a good alternative here for folks. I always try and give you guys an alternative if you're not ready for a safety software. Paper is the best thing that you got, but unfortunately, that's going to give you a lot of, potentially waste, additional questions. It's a heck of a lot more time consuming. And then you have the organizational standpoint for there. So on this one, not necessarily as many good options from an alternative standpoint. But making sure that we're making part of a regular routine is really critical. Whether you use the safety software or not, make this part of your team's activities, no matter if they're required by the GC. Do them on a daily, weekly basis and show that safety is important for you guys all the time, not just when people are looking or paying attention. Sets a really good precedent when you do it that way as well. So those are just some examples. There's some other things that are safety related within SafetyHQ. We have things like SDSs. We have 4.2 million records in here. It's in the millions. It's a lot. I can do a partial search, and I can pull up that particular SDS. Great. A heck of a lot easier than looking through a binder, and especially if you need something, right? It's generally pretty quick. If you need to go down 3 flights of stairs, unlock the truck and flip through a binder to the right page, it's going to be kind of difficult. Putting this in every employee's hands and making it accessible at their fingertips is huge. If you needed any SDSs that we don't have in the system for whatever reason, simply request it. We can reach out and we can source that into the database for you. Again, no additional charge. That's complimentary as well too. So that's another big area that we can kind of focus in on. Continued education, lessons, and safety tracking related to certifications and trainings. This is a big one, right? Everybody probably does a big safety day. If you don't, this is a great week to do it every year. Sometimes people like to do it in the off season when things are a little bit slower. It gives the guys a reason to come around and bring them by and get a couple of hours. Great. You can do those safety activities. Make sure it's a focus for the team. We can actually, through SafetyHQ, we can assign these out to team members as they continue to work on their safety activities. We can send this off to them. We can include videos. We can include images. We can assign this to groups or employees. We can even require them to complete a quiz when they're done with this as well. So really handy wherever the team might be, especially if you spread out and you're working a lot of job sites in a lot of different locations. It's a handy way to stay on top of things. Organize, categorize these however you'd like. Great. And then once those lessons are completed, they're actually automatically updated within our certifications area. So this is a good place to track and manage all of your certifications for your employees. Just like the equipment side that I showed you a little bit ago, it will automatically set the completion date and it will automatically set the expiration date for us if you'd like. We can check that employee. Great. We can see all of their certifications, share that with a QR code, produce a certificate with, maybe an email of those certificates and things like that as well. Great. Makes it really handy for wherever the team is at, so you can show those certifications as they go. We can do images or cards of their certifications on here as well too. So you'll see, we can put in a card here. This one's expired, but you get the idea. It'll show you some things like that as well too. We can do notifications in advance, so you can set up whatever warnings or things like that that you'd like. This is a good way to stay on top of certifications before they expire, before they become an issue. You can set who gets notified when, how far in advance, all that kind of stuff to make sure that your team gets all of that information well in advance of somebody expiring and kind of falling out of compliance. And then in there at any time, you have your universal search. We can put in trainings and certifications from outside the system through an Excel file or a CSV. We can even manually enter those. For about 50 trainings, it takes about 30 seconds to a minute, so pretty easy. You can even do those individually. So if somebody comes to a job site and says, hey, I just completed my drug screen, is there any way you can put that in the system? They don't need to come all the way back to the main headquarters to get some of that stuff in there. And again, you can search, review, and sort that at any time as well also. So great. Fantastic. I see some questions coming over there. I will turn my way back over there in a second, but thank you guys. I'll certainly focus on those in a moment, but thank you. Photos, projects, workers. This is a great way to stay on top of all of our items, our construction related photos, maybe some that are not, like that last example that I showed a second ago. But this is a good way for foremen, crew leaders, owners, executives, to go ahead and see what types of issues they're running into on the job site and go directly to those items. So it's a really nice top level item. You can see project by project, date range, whatever you might need from there as well. Project and employee, these are going to work very similar, but the idea here is this is going to show anything that the employee has been a part of, whether that's toolbox talks, site inspections, forms, certifications, what have you. Any equipment that they're assigned, it's all in one place. It's all rolled up under the employee. Same with the project level as well too. We have full document storage in here, so you can go ahead and use this for whatever you'd like. Store safety manuals in here, other data items. You can put these documents on projects. You can put these documents on employees, on equipment items. If you need like quick reference guides, things like that, that's really handy. So a good way to put whatever you need in here. No data limits, storage limits, anything along those lines. Great. And then incident reports. I got a lot of questions, and I know I'm going kind of quick, and we're going from here too. So incident reports is the last section that we'll look at today. There's a lot more detail that we can obviously get into, and I'll put my information back up if you guys do want a personalized demo. But a good point here from the incident reporting section is going to work a lot like the forms. I hit my big yellow button, and I just want my foreman or crew leaders to handle location, worker information, details, and maybe take some photos. I want to keep that as simple as I can. As soon as they hit submit, that's going to automatically notify our crew leaders, owners, whoever that might be, maybe our safety team as well. I'm going to get a notification that an incident has occurred. Handy for me, the items that I have my foreman collecting are conveniently the top 3 items on this form. I could then go ahead and handle classification, days away from work, treatment information, root cause analysis, witness statements, all those kinds of things that maybe I don't want the field collecting. I can add it. It says photos, but this is photos or documents, so you can include things like hospital records, things like that in here as well. And then as I get in here, I'm going to get a whole bunch of data, right? Hopefully you don't have a ton, but you can go ahead and track things by incident, date range, employee involved, project, what have you. Organize that however you see fit. You can also get some additional data in here as well if you want to track trends, analysis, some other things as well. Also, I'm just going to pick a big wide date range just to make sure that I got some data to show you. So you can see this by crew, division, root cause, whatever that might be. Review that over here on the right-hand side as well. You can filter this out and index it however you see fit. And then this will actually even complete your OSHA 300 directly out of the system as well too. So really handy, all in one place, makes this simple to easy to access and organize for your team, no matter what they're doing. Now, a few other notes, right? We can limit who has access to what. This is a company license as a whole. You don't need to pay per user. We want to make safety as accessible to your team as you want to make it. But if you do want to go ahead and say, hey, I want my field employees to just have access to their own certifications, maybe not everyone's, some SDSs, and then, I don't know, something else, great. But maybe you want your admins to see everything. Maybe you only want your project managers to see forms in which they've completed on their projects or jobs. You can do all those types of activities as well. So really flexible, really customizable. And again, that's backed up by our support team that is US based, that's complementary with your subscription. And, that's complimentary. We'll help you anytime, 7 to 7. I think it's 7 East Coast, 7 Pacific. I can check the hours again, but it's when you're out there, we'll be here. That's kind of the deal as we go to. So I got a whole bunch of questions, many of which I don't think I'm going to be able to get to, but I'll try and get to as many as I can. And in the meantime, let me go ahead and pull this information up. It's probably a good time to highlight that information again. We don't want that screen. Let's go back. You're going to see my mug here again. I apologize. But if you do have any questions, give us an email. Give me a call. I'll be happy to help. You can talk to our team, set something up for an individualized demo. Even if you don't want a demo, say, hey, Eric, we're not ready for a construction software yet. I just wanted to talk through some things with you. We've been doing this for a long time. I'm happy to have those conversations with anyone at any time too. Some easy ones. I'm going to pick and choose. Alyssa, easy question. Thank you. Will this be emailed as far as a copy of the presentation? Absolutely, it will. You should get something shortly after the call. But again, if you do have any questions, comments, want to connect, just let us know. You'll get my contact information in the follow-up email as well. Employees can have their personal logins. You could use those logins and organize those however you see fit, whether those are administrators or users. Let's see here. You can always pull reports. This is a couple of different ways that these questions are asked between Jerry, looks like Damien's got one of these questions, and Alyssa as well. Can you filter reports by job, department, things like that? Absolutely. I'll pull this back up for a second just to give you an idea. Company and division can be used for crews, divisions, departments, whatever, and project as well. So you can always use these to filter any item throughout the software by whatever indexes or filters you'd like. You can also see that at the project level to see anything that's related to that as we go to. Yeah. Let's see here. Thomas is asking, reports emailable to GC construction managers? Absolutely. So any of these reports, any of these forms, any of these items can all be PDF'd. We can grab an item of these. These can always be PDF'd, emailed. We can do a lot of automated email type items as well. So what I see, maybe I'll grab an example of like an equipment inspection. If you do an equipment inspection and there's an issue with this, maybe you rent that piece of equipment. This can automatically be sent to your rep at Sunbelt Rentals or whatever your rental agency might be. So if you have a piece of equipment, great, this requires some maintenance. Maybe I don't want to go through the whole corrective action process. That can be automatically emailed off to whoever might need to review that, organize it as you see fit. So hopefully avoiding a lot of logistical items as we go to. And I know I'm a little bit over on the half hour, guys. That's why I went a little bit quickly here. So I'm going to answer a few more questions. But other than that, if you guys do want to connect, I'll put my information back up again. And then this is recorded. So you should get this here shortly. Can you see completed items by job site? Yeah. So you can go ahead again, kind of the same question as before. By project, you can go ahead and pick a particular item, whether that's a toolbox talk or a JHA. You can see who did it, who didn't do that. You can filter that by division, group, some other items as well. You can export all of this information regularly as we go to. So this is a good one. I really like this one. This is from Gary. wonder if this is the same Gary. I've gotten a question, I think, from a Gary last time we did something similar to this. But Gary is asking, how does your team, and I'm summarizing a little bit, Gary, but Gary's asking, how do you get your team involved in this? Do teams in the field really pick up to this? The answer is, well, it depends. If you're not doing anything safety related, SafetyHQ or any safety software is not a magic bullet, right? That's where we go back to having a top-down safety approach and showing everybody from your field or wherever they're at that safety is important to you guys. You are going to follow up with this. If you just roll a software out there, you never follow up, you never ask anybody about why they didn't participate, why they didn't do what they need. If you're not on them when they don't participate, do the activities or forms and things that you need, they're not going to do them. This isn't going to make anybody do it. It's not a miracle worker by any means. But if you do any kind of safety activity or already and you're doing it by paper, number one, those are the easiest groups to transition. They say, yeah, I don't want to do any of this stuff. You're still going to make me do it, but I'm going to cut down the amount of time that I spend on this by 40-something%. You're going to get better data on the end of it. The employees can reference that whenever they need. The buy-in goes through the roof if you're doing any of this kind of stuff by hand or by paper. For the groups where, hey, I want to get a little bit better at this kind of stuff, we don't do a ton of it right now. Does it make sense to jump right into a safety software? Absolutely. But again, you're going to need some commitment from your team, whether that's foremen, crew leaders, executive owners, what have you. Tell the team if you ignore this, it's not going away. We really need to stay on top of it. It's going to give you all the tools to simply and easily manage those items. And again, the teams generally come around when they realize this thing's not going away. So really helpful. And you know what, as much as they might gripe about it, or you're going to probably get some smart Alex that we've seen on, a number of our deployments, throughout the 10 years or so. At the end of the day, people realize that this safety activities, that's where I kind of talked earlier about, are they GC driven or are they you guys driven? If you're only doing it when a certain job asks for it, does that mean that my safety is not important the rest of the time? As much as you might get some guys that are goofballs and what have you, if you put that commitment to safety on every single job site, they know that you guys care, right? And it's not fun to talk, you guys care about me and what have you, but they do, whether people are going to admit it or not, that does mean a lot. And that means a big difference for a lot of your employees that have been with you for a while. New employees, I know it's hard to find a lot of employees throughout in the workforce right now. So attracting new employees, people want to work with safe employees. At the end of the day, it becomes like a family. They want to get home to their families. They want to get home in one piece. They don't want to deal with any kind of funny business where people are going to potentially get hurt. Seeing safety items implemented on the job site skyrocket the rate of retention. It's going to help your new hire process. And again, although you don't expect anyone on the first day to be like, wow, we really appreciate you doing this for us, what have you. It's there. You'll know your guys and your team well enough to say, yeah, after a couple of weeks, we can really see that, they do appreciate that we're taking these steps to help them from a safety perspective as well also. Awesome. So I think I'm way over now at this point. I'm like 7 or 8 minutes over as we go. So I'm going to kind of wrap it there. But I appreciate everyone's time, attention. Use this time, whether it's looking at safety softwares, whether it's reviewing the solutions that you guys have as a whole. Use this opportunity as Safety Week to maybe slow things down a little bit. You don't need to be perfect overnight. Incremental steps. Maybe it starts with toolbox talks. Maybe it starts with just sitting down and talking with the team about how you can be better at safety. Do something. You don't need to have it all figured out today. You don't need to have it all figured out by the end of Safety Week or next week or the end of the month. If you're not doing anything, one step at a time is really critical. If you're already, at a different point in that journey, halfway through, 3/4 of the way through, look to make that improved. There's a whole bunch of efficiencies out there, and there's a lot of ways that we can help make your team safer, more effective, and on target on the job site. So I appreciate everyone taking the time today. For the questions that I didn't get to, and it looks like there's about 12 or 13 of them, I will send you an email. I'll try and get to those today or tomorrow. I'll send you some emails as you go. Feel free to email me or call me at any time. You will get a follow-up email with this presentation and some other items and information in here as well. But happy to help if you have any questions. We're always there, safety software or not, see any way we can help from there. So thank you, everybody. We certainly appreciate your time today. Have a safe week, and hope you have an enjoyable summer and a productive summer as well, too. So thanks, everybody. Take care.